I think it's safe to say, don't you, chums, that, nobody ever really believes that Meghan Markle is telling the truth. And there are so many instances of this. And again, as I pointed out in a recent video, the fact that, Prince Harry believes his wife only went down a certain particular route while over in Paris for the fashion show. I mean, what do you have to do to convince the unconvinced? But of course, there's other elements that a lot of people don't realise that go on behind the scenes that Meghan has curtailed, so she says in public, but actually in reality, they're very much alive and kicking as ever. Let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Nice to have your company. Can I thank you, by the way, for the lovely comments regarding the video about George Formby and, performing on the London Underground. As ever, I know I say this, but it's all free. There's no memberships. You don't have to buy me a coffee. There's no rattling of tip jars at the end. If you want to watch this, it's free to you from me. Lovely stories that I managed to find and curate and put together that I hope, and I know many of you enjoy, because it's fascinating when you dig deeper and you think, I didn't realise that. George Formby, if you didn't know, was a wonderful, wonderful performer over here in the United Kingdom. And even now, if you listen to his songs, they're very cheeky. Yes. Oh, yes. They're a little bit naughty, but, at that time, you can understand why the BBC banned him, very racy. But, nowadays, you'd think, really? Is it that bothered? Yes, well, that's the world we live in. It's a little bit like this. Some people say that Meghan Markle simply should be banned. And when you look at this particular inside info, which I'm about to share with you, well, you may agree. Let me explain. You see, Meghan, as you know, she's just lied about so many things. Finding freedom. Oh, I didn't deal with that. Yes, you did. Oh, I forgot. Right? So just a liar. You are a liar. And then the secret wedding. Oh, maybe she got mistaken. No, she's so dull, they had to make this story up. That's the thing. And the fact that Harry went along with this, knowing full well, just makes him even worse in many respects, because he said, look, love, get a grip. We're going to be ridiculed for this. But he's so frightened of her, goes along with her. Now, there was an instance earlier this year which came to light deliberately. Whatever people think, nothing is ever just surprise. This was a deliberate attempt by Meghan Markle to goad Prince William, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. Now, remember, this is a guy that's gone through, as many people are out there in our community, a difficult time supporting a partner who's gone through a terrible illness. And thankfully, through the other side, but not in the all clear by any amount. But I like the fact, as I know many of you do, who write to me and say, you're suffering from this, or you've got that, you've got my, love and support and blessings. It's not easy. I know that. And, if we can alleviate the problem by having our chats, wonderful. But you would have thought Meghan might have thought a little bit nicer, but no. She was outed as using, of course, her Royal Highness title when she sent gifts over to, I think it was Jamie Kern Lima, right? And suddenly she posts them online and, still friends with Jamie, yeah? But Patrick, whatever his name, who put pictures up, ostracised, dumped, moved on, yeah? Not allowed. Only what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, right? And it's interesting, when she was over in Paris recently, when she was sort of meeting people and stuff, and even including the hotel at the Plaza Athénée, right, which I found funny, how should we address her? Well, address her as what? Meghan Markle, Miss Markle, whatever. But apparently the staff had to be told, you can use the title, again, I have to say allegedly, if you want. You don't have to call her Her Royal Highness, and perhaps just use the title of Mom. Right, so this is a woman playing pseudo-royal, right? And I don't blame these people in these particular areas, because you don't know. This is the thing. If you're in there, you're not quite sure, you don't necessarily know our royal protocol. To be clear, as she pointed out, her name is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. That's the title she could go under. There's no Her Royal Highness. That's not there. But Meghan and Harry want to perpetuate this myth, rather like the Duke and Duchess of Windsor did many years ago in the 30s and 40s, trick people into thinking this is great, we're in the presence of a royal, and of course it makes them look good. Interestingly as well, behind the scenes, the Plaza Athénée were more than happy to, shall we say, procure this picture to make sure that Meghan's visit was detailed, and perhaps that will go up on their wall of fame, or indeed their magazine. You know how these things work. What's going to be interesting though is, how will they title that? You see what I'm saying? Isn't it time now, really, the royal family did the honourable thing and just took them off the website? It would save a lot of problems, don't you think? Neil Shaw in Kensington, London.